What's up guys, and welcome back for another EVE Online video. Today we are continuing our Life as a Corporation Director series with episode 21. I need to start by apologising for a lack of upload last week. I will detail the reasons actually. Obviously I don't want this to become too much of just a vlog about my life, but it is worth mentioning just so that you guys know why I wasn't able to upload. 2 weeks ago was my last week in my old job, so there was quite a lot of work to do wrapping up some handover stuff. Then obviously it was Easter weekend, so a little bit of family stuff, and then we pushed into first week of my new job, so I had to prep for all of that. So that's why there was no video last weekend. I did try and push out a few other videos. You'll have seen some content from the hunt, hopefully, the event, running a couple of videos from that, and also I pushed out some C4 Nesta video. So hopefully those videos have been well received, but as I say, I apologise for not doing a video in this series last week. And then just on that, because I've started the new job now, which is pretty hectic and full on, and I've just got to try and work out where a good routine and pattern for that job, for gaming and recording and things. So the format of this channel might change slightly in the short term. I don't want it to. I'm going to try and try my best to stick with a weekly upload in this series, and then just random uploads for some other stuff. But I do have quite a lot of content I want to put out, and it's obviously this video, it does have a good following, so I want to keep doing it. But there's loads of other stuff I want to put out that I've spoken about a fair bit, I think. A bunch more like new bro friendly wormhole stuff, and also a load more other wormhole stuff with things in combat sites in Stratios, some more fleet stuff, some more Nesta stuff, all that kind of things. So that's the plan. There might be the odd delay, and I do apologise for that, just while I get used to the new working situation. But so enough on the... Oh, and actually, I will continue. I was about to say enough on the vlogging thing, but also the UK is just about to start easing its COVID lockdown stuff for the first time. As of, I think, tomorrow as our first step in proper lockdown, so we can start going to the gym and stuff again. And then mid-May we've got a proper easing. So for the first time in like a year, we'll be back to being able to do some relatively normal stuff. So that my game time and therefore content might suffer a little bit while I actually go and explore the outside and maybe go to a pub and things. So as I say, I'll try not to let it suffer, but just so you're aware, there might be the odd delay in a video from time to time. But anyway, vlog over. So apologies for the big diversion in subject matter there, but we'll crack on. So the way this video is going to work this week is I've just got some footage running in the background of a few things that have happened in the last 2 weeks. This first bit is video from the hunt event. So my 2 weeks have been largely, the 2 weeks ago was I just ran the hunt for the most part. Ran it, collected all the points to get that you can get the skins for in my Astro. It took a little while because the Astro is not very good at it, and it was obviously risking a lot of ISK, and it just took a while, and I probably shouldn't have done it that way. But once I'd finished in inverted commas the event, I then tried out new fits, tried out the Cormorant and things, much cheaper, and it was so much easier and faster. So I wish I'd done that in the first place. But so I spent pretty much all of that week doing that, running the event, making sure I collected as many skins as possible, and it was also relatively good ISK, especially while the competition wasn't that high towards the start of the event. The competition is then really ramped up. So I did. The reason this is relevant to the series, by the way, is a lot of the fit testing. So with the Cormorant, with the Astro. We did some retribution testing for guys with higher skill point things, um, and a Vengeance, I believe. So there was quite a lot of fit testing, um, so that our court mates could go into the events sort of with an idea of what they could expect. We could help them out, give them some recommendations and things, and just generally, try and help where we could, so that people weren't just flying in and losing their ships immediately. And obviously because that's not a huge amount of fun. If people wanted to do it that way, obviously they didn't have to listen to our advice, which is cool. A lot of people like to learn by doing. That's actually one of the things I like to do. If you're not new to the channel, you've probably seen me fly just randomly into sites and just see what happens. Um, so some people like to do that, but others want the advice and want the help. So we tried our best to test some fits and do that for them. So that was almost all of like last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, however you say it. And I had good fun with that. But then once I'd sort of finished the points and got the skins from the mission events and the little flag in the bottom left, I got a bit fed up. Like the event started to become a bit more hotly contested, and I got a bit fed up with people that were just wait. So there's, often you'd be running the site, you'd be there sort of, close to 10 minutes. You're clearing down the last rat, but your warp scrammed when the gate spawns. And the number of times I had something like 6 in a row where someone walked in as the gate activated, and so they just walked in, took the gate, and went and cleared the boss where I'd been there 10 minutes. And for that to happen 6 times in a row, I was like, it's getting a bit much now. All I'm doing is trying to get the loot, so no big deal. So I stopped running the sites, and gave my keys to some people. And so but as I say, that was last week. I had a really good time. I did enjoy the event. I do think it's good fun. This is a good one. It's about to come to an end, so I was gonna say, so go out and do it, but it's about to come to an end, so probably don't. um, and yeah, and so then at the last weekend, I'm trying to do things chronologically, even though it doesn't make tremendous amount of sense. But so at the end of last week, we then got war decked. So we had a couple of high-sec structures in Bagadan that were deliberately, since the changes, they were deliberately left uncored, and um, and with no fittings, basically, so that we just use them as somewhere to store some stuff, and we could do reprocessing and stuff there. But you could use the services. So manufacturing, we used it for our research, blueprint research and stuff, but we couldn't do any module fitting or repair or anything like that because it was uncored. But that was fine. It was deliberately left uncored to try and make it as unattractive as possible to take down. It was a Raitaru and an Athanor, and they're worth virtually nothing, especially if they've got no fittings. But we did eventually get war decked. But no big deal. Hot Black, our CEO, was quite happy with it. Well, happy is the wrong word, but didn't really mind. We did make, basically for some fun, we did look at trying to defend just to see what we could do. Because so it was our holding corp that got war decked. So all of our pilots could carry on just roaming around high sec and doing whatever they want without any fear of being killed by war targets. So that's the purpose of a holding corporation. But what we had started setting up a little while ago is an alpha high sec war deck corp. And so basically we've all got an alpha account sat in that corporation. Obviously very low skills. It's all just alpha, and they're training a little bit in the background, but not very much. So we thought we'd have a crack with that group and just see what we could do. So we assisted our holding corporation with our alpha high sec war deck corp, and just basically to see what we could do. And we also last week attended a friendly timer for for another friendly group, you probably have heard me mention Necromancer before. Some of his mates had been war decked, so we thought we'd turn up, help them out, and they then returned the favour. So um, as the week progressed, so we tried to attend a couple of the timers. So we showed up for our armor timer just to see what we could do, just for a bit of fun, with our friends. There'll be some footage in the background. I'll probably now, I guess. I'm not very good at. I'm not very clever, so I can't make sure I'm talking over the right thing at the right time. But I will. Hopefully, there'll be some footage in the background now of our woeful attempt at holding at defending the structures. But as I say, it was just some fun. We weren't putting any ISK into it. The fits are pretty cheap. And it turns out the enemy, there was a lot of nightmares and basilisks, so it's an incredibly strong bashing fleet that was also specifically designed to take down the fleet that we had chosen to fight them with. Like, they didn't know we'd be bringing that fleet, but we were a fairly common fit, especially as an alpha group. So we had some fun, but you'll see here we just got insta wiped off the field. No big deal, but we tried to have another crack at this weekend on the hull timers. I unfortunately couldn't make it, but we had a relatively good showing, and again with our friends. So big thank you to them for helping out with this stuff. It's been awesome that they've felt like having a go as well, felt like helping us out. But same result this weekend, and so the structures have gone, both of them. As I say, we're not concerned about that at all. The total drop from the structures, both of the structures, I think, was 20 million ISK. So, the guys who were bashing it turned up with a fleet worth probably close to 50 billion to get 20 million drop. Is that worth their time? Questionable. But so that's what I mean. We don't care. And Hot Black is now looking at where we might anchor another structure. There was even conversation earlier today about maybe dropping it just inside LowSec so we can set up a reaction facility, but that's ongoing discussions, and we may even put it to the corp just to see what they want out of the structure. Because obviously the risk of us just dropping it back in high sec again is this time we'd have to have a core in it, so it becomes more attractive to war deckers, and so we may drop it and within a week just be war decked again by these big boys, and then that's a bit of just wasted ISK. So we'll see. That might happen, it might not. But I mean, there'll definitely be a structure, whether it's in high sec, whether it's in low sec, who knows? Could be somewhere completely different, not near Amar anymore. We don't really know at the moment. But like I said, we're not no big deal. It was bound to happen eventually, especially with the structure changes. These big groups are just going around taking down every structure they see in high sec. I'm not entirely sure why. There's some rumor, well, not rumor necessarily. I've not paid too much attention, but there's some speculation that the big nullsec alliances are sort of, because of the resource changes, are creating like a super highway through high sec. So if you're on that highway, your structures get removed so that they can have like free access to what they need to do. And Bagadan is in one of those paths. It's on the path between Amar and Jita, and is very close to Amar. But also there's an access out of Null through Losec, through Bagadan into Amar and things. So it could be that it was all just part of this superhighway thing. We don't know. But, no big deal. And we will continue this week just seeing what we can do about picking off war targets if possible. We're going to help our mates out with a couple of timers they've got. As they showed up for us, we'll show up for them. And yeah, but that's part of high sec life. It's one of the reasons we've chosen to live in wormholes, to be honest. I've personally become a bit tired of high sec mechanics. I don't really like what's possible with war decks and things. So a few years ago, I ran my own corporation with my dad actually, and we were having we had a really good time. This is pre Citadels, before structures. We were having a really good time. Enjoyed that. We're going for about 6 months. We were still quite small, but we were sort of 20, 25 members, and then we just got war decked, um, and suddenly you just can't play the game anymore. This is before this. This is they've changed the war deck mechanics slightly, so that you can not be war decked if you want to be. But back then, anyone could war deck anyone, and so we got war decked, and you just couldn't play the game for a week. And then if they extended the war deck, okay, you can't carry, you still can't. And for us, it was not really a big deal. Like we could go and try and look for war deck targets, but there were players that don't want to do that, right? You want to play the game. For me, high security space should be somewhere that you can be safe if you want to be. Um, and they have CCP have fixed that a little bit. They have introduced obviously you can only be war decked if you own structures, and you can only war deck if you own a structure. But then still, it's a little bit annoying that you can't really keep if you're a small player or a small corporation. Um, you just can't realistically keep your structures. It's a matter of time until a big well organized group turn up and take your structure down. And partly because structures are so cheap, which is depends on how you look at it. Like we can throw out another structure and not really care if we lose it, fine. But partly because structures are so cheap, there's no incentive for us to try and take on a nightmare fleet with like 8 Bazzies, right? Why would we? If the whole thing only costs 1 billion, even with the core structure and core is 1 billion for some of these things, why would we turn up in a fleet worth 20 billion to try and defend an asset worth 1 billion? There's just there's just no point. So other than for fun, so that's why we were turning up in cheap ships to see what we could do to defend something that was only worth 300 million. Um, Even when it's worth a bit, like it's only large structures and above, so fortizars and above, that is sort of worth turning up to defend properly. And so that means the big groups that are able to put together fleets of 50 billion and defend them and risk that kind of risk can just fly around taking down whatever structures they want and doing whatever they want. And I don't know how. I don't have a suggestion as to how that might be avoided. And I don't want. I'm trying my. I don't want to come across as salty because as I said, we're not at all sad, like bothered or salty that we've lost the structures. It's just a mechanic of Eve, and we can replace them. But it's just like it's a bit annoying that you can't have, as a small player, you can't have a structure in HiSec anymore, which seems a bit counterintuitive. I don't know what the intention is, obviously, around structure mechanics. It could easily be CCP's intention that the little guy can't own a structure in HiSec properly. But that's what it is. What it is. My little rant, or well, I don't want to call it a rant, but my discussion about HiSec mechanics over. Um, and then we'll move on to then this week. As I said, because I started my new job and I've got my working hours are slightly different, because I'm now working for a company in a different time zone to me. Not a big difference, but a little difference is still a difference. I've had to adjust my gaming hours a little bit, um, and reduce them somewhat. And I've also been tired because it's been hectic. So I've been mostly just farming this week, hence the Nesta video. I've been, I think, 4 nights this week. Well, 4 nights in the last maybe 8 to 10 days. I've been out dual boxing in my nesters, staying relatively safe, which has been nice. That's one of the reasons I've been able to do it. I've gone out scouting a bit beforehand, making sure the system that I've chosen is uh, quiet. Like it's wormhole space. I'm never going to call it safe, but it's quiet. And then I've just taken my two nesters out and spent hour and a half each of those 4 evenings, farming up, and in that time, and that's what we're talking, not very long at all. I reckon a grand total of maybe 7 hours. I've been doing it, and I pulled in like something like 1.3 billion in blue loot, which is awesome. That's again, if you're if you're not new to the channel, you'll know that's a lot of ISK for me. Um, so that's been really cool to discover that, and as a result, I've been doing it a fair bit this week because it's become a really effective way for me to spend my limited game time. Um, I'm not going to like I'll do it occasionally, but what I want to do now is start getting more fleets out, start getting some of our other members out to start putting the cash in as well. I've become confident in my ability to do these sites without issue. So now ready and willing to bring other members in and run small fleets doing these things. Um, and just so as I say, so other people can share in some of the wealth generated. And I've also been training up because my skills haven't been in the right place, but I've been training into a Tengu because we live in a pulsar. So I needed armor an armor fit ship. No, what am I talking about? We live in a pulsar, so I needed a shield fit ship. Um, so gone for Tengu, so because the Stratios is obviously it's fine, but it's pretty useless in terms of defense because we live in a pulsar. So for PvP, I'm going down the Tengu route, and so going to use the ISK I've earned this week in ratting to go and fit myself up a nice Tengu and just see what we can do with it. Basically, I don't want to just whelp it immediately, but I need something I can help out with a bit of defense. If we have hunters or pirates come through and pin one of our members down while they're out ratting, or if we want to go on a little hunt, then I've got a Tengu. That's the plan. I just need to go out and get it, and then hopefully I can record a little bit of PvP footage. That might be good as well, and we'll see. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say this couple of weeks. As I mentioned at the start, I've got so much content I want to push out, and well, I got to get it recorded and stuff first, and it's just finding the time to do that. But the wormhole new bro stuff is going to be my priority. I really need to do that. I've been talking about it for weeks now, and I really need to start getting that out. Um, so that will be coming, I promise. Thank you for being patient. Um, also, last week, if you're on the Nesta video, which I'll put a link up to here, I'm running a giveaway that's currently live and will be live for another week. So if you want to enter that giveaway, go and check that video out and enter. And if you want to join the corporation, we are definitely recruiting. Shoot me a message in game or join the disaster recruitment channel, and you'll be able to find one of our recruiters there. But basically, yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.